Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, September 29. It's time for the Iman Report. If you like what you see, give this channel a big like and please be kind and hit that subscribe button. Today we are going to preview NFL Week 4. We're going to start off with tomorrow night's game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bengals at home, a 7.5-point favorites over the Jaguars. Jacksonville looked a little better last week against the Cardinals. But the problem is Cincinnati is a much improved team too this year. Joe Burrows looked great. Jamar Chase actually looks like an NFL caliber wide receiver after getting all the flack he got in the draft. Joe Mixon has been good. The defense actually showed some life last week. As for the Jags, last week Trevor Lawrence had his best game in his short career in the NFL. That being said, the defense is horrible. This team still has a lot of work to do. Games in Cincy. Cincinnati should have no problem beating the Bengals. I'm not going to take too much time with this one. Beating the Jaguars. Cincy wins. Cincy covers. This game could be a wallop. The Washington football team goes to Atlanta. This is maybe one of the more underrated games of the week here. At Washington coming off a loss to Buffalo. Washington's defense has not been good this year. But they do get a step down in competition against Atlanta. That's the good news. The bad news is their defense was horrible against the New York Giants. The good news is Matt Ryan is regressing for the defense. But also this could be a good game for Antonio Gibson to get going. This could be a good game for Taylor Heinicke to air it out. Heinicke is not a bad quarterback. He is a very serviceable backup. But if Washington wins, it's going to have to be on getting stops against Matt Ryan. I do, though, say Washington's a better team than New York. Atlanta is not a good team. I think Arthur Smith is finding out that this team needs a full rebuild. Washington, if they lose, this is going to be a game where really last season is going to look more and more like a fluke. This is a very close spread in this game. The Washington football team is the 1.5-point favorites. And I'm going to go with the Washington football team. Washington wins a close one, and they cover. Price something around 21-17. Next one, the Detroit Lions against the Chicago Bears. Detroit's actually one of the better 0-3 teams so far. They've hung around with the 49ers. They have hung around with the Ravens. They hung around for a while with the Packers. This could be a golden opportunity to get Dan Campbell his first win. Chicago, on the other hand, they don't know who their starter is going to be. It could be Dalton. Could it be Fields? Could it be Foles? Could it be what's behind curtain number 1, door number 2? Who knows what their quarterback's going to be? Defense has not been great. And really, Matt Nagy should not have a job today. This Chicago team is terrible. And if they do lose to the Lions, which is a real possibility, does Matt Nagy lose his job? We're going to find out that question because, you know what? Yes, Chicago is the 3-point favorites. But this team's not good. The Lions go into Soldier Field, pulls off the upset, and we're going to find out if Matt Nagy gets fired afterwards. And I think he should be fired afterwards. So that's my upset special of the week, and the Bengals are my lock. Another one I will not go too long on. The Tennessee Titans take on the New York Jets. King Henry should have a great day running the ball all over the Jets. The Jets' defense has probably been better than the offense so far. Maybe that's the only silver lining so far. If there's other silver lining, maybe Zach Wilson is going to get a little break from getting sacked. So maybe the sack numbers, the pick numbers go down a bit for Zach Wilson. Still, this team is terrible. It's got a long rebuild to go. Even without Julio Jones, Tennessee, the 7.5-point favorites. I think Titans are going to have no problem with the Jets. Tennessee wins. Tennessee covers. Next up, the Cleveland Browns and the Minnesota Vikings. Cleveland played their greatest game last week against the Bears. Baker Mayfield, he's not elite, but he is an above-average quarterback. Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, they're going to have no problem running the ball all day on Cleveland's defense, on the other hand, has been a bit sus. For Minnesota, Kirk Cousins has been lights out this year. And they can run the ball when they need to. But Cousins, if Cousins were on any other team, we would be talking about an MVP caliber season for Kirk Cousins. That's how good of a season Kirk Cousins has had so far. He's carried this team. The Vikings' defense is not that good. Granted, they looked a bit better against Seattle. This is another one where I think where a shootout is a real possibility. But at the end of the day, give me the Cleveland Browns beating their former coach. Cleveland wins. Cleveland covers at 2.5. Next one, another intriguing matchup. The Indianapolis Colts go to the Miami Dolphins. The walking wounded Carson Wentz going up against former Colt Jacoby Brissett. The Colts defense has not been good this year. This could be another game where Jacoby has a good game. Miami's defense is good. I think they're going to have no problem roughing up Carson Wentz. The Colts can't run the ball. They can't tackle. At 0-3, Reich has to be on the hot seat at this point. And his seat's just going to get hotter after Miami. It might even get hotter than the humidity in Miami after this week's game. I think Miami does it. Miami gets the win. Miami covers. Miami wins it on their defense. Another low-key game of the week. Carolina Panthers against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas's offense has been... Dak has played on another level this year. Ezekiel Elliott has played good ball. Tony Pollard's played great ball. CeeDee Lamb is a stud. The Dallas defense is back. Dallas, but then you got another up-and-coming team in the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers might be able to shut down Dak Prescott in that offense. Carolina's defense is great this year. Sam Darnold only has to be a game manager, but the lack of Christian McCaffrey is really going to hurt. Dallas coming in as the 4.5-point favorites. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick another upset here. Panthers go into Arlington, get a win over Dallas. Next up, we go to the Dome where the G-Men play the New Orleans Saints. The New York Giants are bad. Daniel Jones has not been terrible this year, but the rest of the team has been bad. They definitely laid an egg against Atlanta this week. Now they go in to a team where the Saints have a good defense, and maybe Jameis Winston can be lucky. You don't know which Jameis Winston we're going to get. Are we going to get the one who throws 50-50 balls? Maybe we get a Winston that more But if the G-men want a chance in this game, they have to shut down Alvin Kamara, shut down Taysom Hill, make Jameis Winston use his arm. That being said, the Saints defense is going to probably be too much for the G-men. Saints win, Saints cover at 7.5. Next, we go to Philadelphia, where the Kansas City Chiefs get a step down in competition against the Philadelphia Eagles. The good news for Jalen Hurts is the Chiefs' defense is terrible. Hurts should have a much better game. But on the other side of the coin, the Chiefs have lost back-to-back games, which I don't think has happened too often with Patrick Mahomes being the quarterback. And I don't think they are going to lose 3 in a row. Granted, the Chiefs' defense is a lot like Swiss Chiefs these days. Swiss cheese. Philly's defense, we don't know what they are. They look like a decent unit. But Philadelphia, I still think at this point that the Chiefs are going to be angry. They're going to take out their anger on the Eagles. Chiefs go into Philly, wins, covers. The Houston Texans at the Buffalo Bills. Could this be another repeat of last week for Buffalo, where they go and wallop on a cupcake team? Give David Culley a lot of credit, though, in Houston. He has elevated his team, and they're playing hard. But they just don't have the horses in this one. I do think Buffalo's going to win at home. I just don't. At 16.5 points, I'm going to take the points. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals at the Los Angeles Rams. Arizona finally getting their first big test of the year. How will Kyler Murray handle the likes of Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey? So far, Kyler has had a really good year throwing the ball. And Christian Kirk is having a really good year in receiving. That being said, the Cardinals' defense is suspect. The Rams, they are probably one of the best teams in the NFL right now. They are one of the most balanced teams in the NFL. The defense is good. Stafford is playing like an MVP in LA now that he's got actual legitimate weapons. I can't see why Deshaun Jackson will have another good game. Why not Cooper Kupp has another good game? Or Robert Woods. There's just too many weapons. Rams win. Rams cover. And we go to a bigger rivalry in the West Coast. The Seattle Seahawks take on the San Francisco 49ers. Seattle 1-2. Not too often you see Seattle lose consecutive games under Pete Carroll. In the Russell Wilson era, they're going to be mad. The 49ers, they want to avoid losing 2 in a row. This is one where these teams kind of offset each other a bit. Both secondaries are bad. The edge, I think, is going to go to the 49ers. The defensive line of the 49ers is where the edge could be. The offensive line has not been able to protect Russell Wilson. If the 49ers are able to hit Russell Wilson, then they can get some stops. It could be a long day for Seattle. That being said, the secondary has to be better at protecting DK Metcalf. They cannot let DK Metcalf take off next week. This game is very likely going to be a shootout. What Jimmy are we going to see? The 49ers cannot afford to start slow against Russell Wilson. But this could be a good game for Trey Sermon to get going. They're going to get Elijah Mitchell back. That's going to be key. At the end of the day, the 49ers are going to be angry. 49ers are going to win this game. They're going to cover. The Denver Broncos against the Baltimore Ravens. This is a pick'em game right here. This is a pick'em game right here. Baltimore's defense looked a bit better last week against Detroit. But the Detroit defense was able to slow down Lamar Jackson. Denver's defense is stout. They are likely going to shut down Lamar Jackson, force him to use his arm. It could be a very long day for Baltimore. They're going to Mile High. And Teddy Bridgewater just has to be a game manager in Denver. The bad part is injuries. They do lose Jerry Jeudy for a while. So now they got to find other weapons, which I think they will. But the defense is great. Denver is going to win this one. I think Denver is going to prove they're not a fluke. Denver goes to 4-0. Pittsburgh Steelers against the Green Bay Packers. This could be a very long day for the Steelers. Big Ben, I think midnight has rung on Big Ben. It's going to come down to running. The Steelers are going to have to get Najee Harris going to have any prayer against the Packers. I don't think the Steelers have started 1-3 in a long time, and this could be a real possibility here for Pittsburgh. This is looking like a team that's going to have to draft a quarterback next year, or they could find themselves very soon having to go to Mason Rudolph. Green Bay, the defense is not great, but granted they get a step down in offense with the Steelers. But I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. It's Lambeau. I think the Packers are going to win. Packers are the 7-point favorites. Packers win. Packers cover. Next up, Tom Brady's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers homecoming to Foxborough. It's been pretty much the Tom Brady show for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers so far this year. The running game has been meh. The defense has been awful for the Bucs. For the Patriots, the key is going to be, can they get the running game going for the Patriots? Mac Jones cannot be their runner this week. Patriots defense is good. Could they know enough scheming to shut down Tom Brady? We'll see. But I think at the end of the day, the Tom Brady and the Bucs get the job done. Tom Brady and the Bucs win. Tom Brady and the Bucs cover. And in a very good Monday night game this week, the Las Vegas Raiders take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers, the 3.5-point favorites. Derek Carr has been balling this year. The Raiders can run the ball this year. The defense has been better this year for the Raiders. The winner of this game could have bragging rights to the AFC West title. This looks like an old-fashioned rivalry. The bad news for the Chargers is it could look like the black hole at SoFi. Can Justin Herbert deal with doing silent counts at home? Can they deal with the hostile noise of Raider Nation? The Chargers' defense is great. This could come down to a shootout. And you know what? Give me the Chargers. Chargers are going to win this one. Chargers are going to cover this at 3.5 points. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers in this one. That's my Week 5 picks. Have a good day, everybody. We'll be back Saturday.